Hey, it's time for our parenting and family corner conversation right now. Family is not only the basic unit of social organization, but is also a central institution for moral development and character formation. Traditionally, the extended family system and communal values emphasized responsibility, respect for elders, and adherence to social norms. But we know as we have modern influences and the little ones are becoming a little bit different right now, you're also questioned as a parent, which is reshaping family structures, especially in urban and nuclear family settings. There's an increased need to intentionally foster a culture of accountability within the home. How exactly do we go about creating that family culture accountability? Sandra Oluwadare is joining us today to chat on that. Sandra is a parenting and family systems strategist. Sandra, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
Sandra, what is a parenting and family systems strategist? I've never heard of that before.
Okay, so that is somebody who helps parents create systems that can help them raise wholesome, thriving children and still win in parenting without losing themselves.
Oh, I love that. Wonderful. We need you in every home, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sandra,
Sure,
it
go
seems
ahead.
like, for many of the times, especially in African families, there was always a strict way of doing things. Children are to be seen, not to be heard. You just respect your elders and do whatever they say. But it seems like parents now are trying to be more intentional, and that is changing. Is it really changing, or are we still adhering to those traditional African family values?
Sorry, could you say that again?
I'm asking you if things are changing and parents are trying to change how intentional they are in parenting, or we're still sticking to some of those traditional African family values where children don't get to speak and they just have to listen to what the adults tell them.
Okay, I think the landscape is changing. The landscape of parenting is changing as the awareness is ongoing. Many people are beginning to see that for us to get to that level we want to get to, for us to have better, wholesome individuals turned into society from the family unit, they're beginning to see that we need to shift from some of the approaches that we have implemented in the past that have not really given us the results we desire. So I would say that there's been a lot of shifts, although we are not there yet, but a lot is happening. And I'm really glad at how intentional parents are becoming today.
Yeah, the easy part is feeding your family. Maybe it's not so easy, but the practical stuff, hey, when to go to bed, all that stuff that is tangible. But it's the intangible things like character formation, like ethical considerations to build in families. Because you know what? The little ones are watching us. They're not just listening to what we're saying. They're looking at our behavior and they see those contradictions. Let's start from the beginning here. What are the foundational principles required to establish that environment of accountability in a family system?
All right. Thank you so much for that question, Benjamin. So accountability is something that is truly required, something that you cannot, it's a non-negotiable if you really want to build a family that can thrive. And so I love what you said when you talked about the tangible things like feeding the children or the family, doing school runs, ensuring that they go to bed in time. I call all of those, as important as they are, I categorize them as the logistics aspect of parenting. And like you said, we also have the intangible part, character formation. Those are the areas, where deeper work lies, right? Now, when you want to implement accountability in your family, there are certain things that we cannot look away from. For example, this thing that we say, do as I do, or do as I say, don't do as I do. This is something that lots of parents get
Yeah,
away with.
yeah,
I
sure.
mean, what do we really think? Do we think our children don't see us, or do we think they can't decipher some of the things we do? They can see through us, even the very young ones. How do we expect to be a proper role model to a child who you are expecting to do a particular thing that you cannot even do? Sometimes we are not fair as parents because we hold children to expectations that even us parents cannot hold ourselves to. And so one of the first things you want to do when it comes to creating that accountability is that you need to be clear on what you want. A lot of times we demand things from our children. We want them to do this or do that, but we are not even clear. Sometimes even us parents do not even know exactly what we want. We say, oh, go clean up your room, go tidy the balcony, and all of that. That is it may be clear to an extent because you're an adult, but it is vague to a child, especially those that might be struggling with attention disorder. So we want to be very clear on our expectations. You want to go deeper to let the child know that this is the goal I want you to achieve. I want you to clean up your room, but instead of just saying clean up your room, I want you to take off the dirty sheets from the bed. I want you to pick up your dirty clothes. I want you to ensure that your clean clothes are folded, or when you're done in the bathroom, take out your towel, clean the floor. We need to be very clear when we're passing instructions to our children. Now, why is this important? Because that is how you are able to come back. That is how you can circle back later to say, oh, you said you tidied your room, but I still see your wet towel on the bed. I still see dirty sheets on the bed. You are able to hold on to, tasks that have been undone or done, because children, no matter how young they are, can be held accountable for their actions. That is how we build responsibility in our children. I should be able to say, I asked you to clean up after playing with your toys, and you did not do that. I'm able to highlight what you did not do because I was very clear. So before we conclude that children are not accountable for their actions, they're not responsible, they're not acting like they should, we also need to go back and audit what we're doing in the home to say, am I really clear enough? And then another very important foundation.
Okay, before you move on to that, Sandra, I have to hold you on there. We'll come back to that foundational element that you want to touch on after our break. And I think that's such an interesting thing that you're speaking about our communication skills as parents. But are we communicating clear instructions, but also those things that, we're giving instructions on and seeing the behavior? How do they trickle over to a more permanent development of a young child or a family member? We're speaking to Sandra Oluwadare, parenting and family systems strategist. We're asking, how exactly do we go about creating a family culture of accountability? We've got our poll going on our X handle at Channel Africa One, asking the same question. Go there and give us your thoughts as well.
The KwaZulu-Natal Convention Bureau, in collaboration with Milvest Advisory and the city of Mhlathuze, brings you the 2025 Tourism Investment Forum, Africa. By positioning these regions for sustainable growth, TIFA helps drive their economic ambitions while providing access to critical capital, networks, and strategic insights on investments in the trade services sector, such as tourism. Join us for the TIFA 2025 from August 27 to 29 at Tembela Venue, Richards Bay, KZN, South Africa. Be part of the movement transforming tourism and infrastructure in Africa.
Palesa and Benjamin fuel your day with fresh African perspective on Channel Africa.
We continue our conversation with Sandra Oluwadare, parenting and family systems strategist, speaking today about how we can create a family culture of accountability. Well, you are still on a train of thought on some of the fundamentals we need to look at as parents when trying to create this culture, Sandra. Please do continue.
All right, thank you so much. So I was going to go to the next foundational truth we need to hold on to if you really want to, implement accountability in your home, and that is consistency. How consistent are we as parents? I said something earlier, how easy it is to say, I want my children to do this. This is what I require of them. But we need to also look backwards. We need to go back to the drawing table and see, how consistent am I? How well do I repeat the things that I want them to achieve? Or do I just say one thing today and the next minute, because I'm in a good mood, something that I punished you for yesterday, I am, I'm applauding you for it because I feel good today and I'm just excited. And so consistency is so important because children are watching, and children will do more of what they see you do than what they see you say or what they hear you say. And so you need to be consistent. If you are saying, I need you to be accountable for your actions, even if you're 2 years old, when you're done playing with your toys, I need you to pack up your toys. I can assist you, but you need to understand that when you scatter things, you have the ability to put them back together. And so once the child understands that this is what my parent will do in whatever situation, any day, any time, trust me, that accountability will be upheld in the home. Because honestly, when we sway, children begin to undermine the authority of their parents. And then you find parents saying, oh, this child doesn't listen to me, this child doesn't take correction.
Sure.
No, it is because we have shown them something else that they are holding on to. And there's an important question that I would love to quickly ask.
Okay.
We love to say, were you saying something?
No, I was just listening to you.
Go on.
Carry on. I was acknowledging you. Carry on.
Okay.
Sure.
So there's something that I would really love parents to reflect on as I go on. You want your child to be this, but have you asked yourself, who do I need to become for my child to be this? I want my child to be accountable. So who do I need to become to have a child who is accountable, or for me to build a home where accountability is upheld?
Yeah.
So are you accountable as a parent, or do you just think that, oh, mommy makes the decisions, I call the shots, daddy can do whatever he wants? The children also want us to be accountable. So if you want to uphold that in your home, you also need to show that you're accountable. If you do something that is not right, it's okay to apologize. If you make a promise and you're not able to keep it, it is okay to say, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I actually thought this was going to happen, but this is where we are. Can we do this some other time? This is so important. They are learning that you just don't go with the flow. There's a method to which things are done. And then another important thing that I'll just say quickly before we move on is that we need to show respect for ourselves. Now, lots of parents think, I gave birth to this child, or I'm this child's guardian. So, where's respect coming from? But the truth is, children will carry themselves the way they see us carry them. Children will, their self-esteem, their worth, their self-worth will emanate from how we speak to them. Our voice becomes their inner voice. How we label them will go a long way to determine how they will see themselves. So we need to understand that respecting our children is non-negotiable. If we want them to be accountable, we need to respect them. We need to show them that I see you, I hear you, your opinion matters, even if I'm not going to take your opinion all the time, but I see you as a person. This is so important because honestly, if we flip the switch and we put ourselves in their shoes to say, okay, I'm working in a place and you want me to be accountable, but you don't see me, you don't value my opinion, you label me, you talk down at me, how am I going to be accountable? Even if I will be accountable, I'm just going to be doing it because it's a sense of duty, right? But there will be baggages that I'll be penting up inside of me, and we don't want that for our children. We want to make home and the parent-child relationship as safe as possible, as comfortable as possible. Do we still have time? Can I go on?
Yeah, Sandra, no, it's very powerful
Okay.
what you're saying. And the difficult moments are when there is conflict, right? And where it feels like you're not getting your way through. How do you know then when it comes to that accountability issue? Because you've highlighted so many things we wanted to ask you, but this one is an interesting one for me, because when do you know that, you know what, my voice is not enough here? I need external intervention just for some form of discipline to be instilled here.
Okay, so were you asking how you can make them more comfortable? I really didn't get that part.
Yeah, no, I'm asking a little bit about maybe you're not getting your way through and the discipline is not coming through. And maybe you
Okay.
need some external help. How do you know
Okay.
that you've reached that point?
Okay, so I love to say that before you finally conclude that this child is, I can't do anything about this child. There are a lot of boxes you would have ticked. So when it comes to discipline, when it comes to getting your child to really, understand what you're saying and follow through, you need to also consider the question that I asked earlier. Who am I becoming to help this child become, right? So this child is not, it feels like I need external help. But have I done everything? Because sometimes when we think we've done everything, there are still so many things, to do. So first, quickly, I would say, how's your connection with your child? Love is universal. It's really difficult to see somebody that would not appreciate love, right? And I would like to also add that everyone has a love language. So even if there are some people who are shown love, but still are not able to receive that love because you may not be speaking their love language. So when I say love is universal, everybody needs love. Yeah, I know that there are some people in your circle right now who you may have been showing love and it looks like, oh, they're not even seeing what you're doing. Yes, it is possible that you're not speaking their language. So you want to work on your connection with your child. How connected are you? How attuned is your child to you? Because sometimes when we think we're connected to our children, most times it is fear, right? Sometimes you find a parent saying, oh, my children, they dare not put their hands on the walls. They dare not do this. Once I'm coming back, everything is prim and proper. They're running to carry their books and all of that. We need to ask ourselves, do these children obey me? Do they follow instructions because they honor me, because they know what is really expected of them? Or are they doing it because they fear me, because they are afraid of me? So you want to be sure that your connection with your child is top-notch. When connection is top-notch, it is difficult to find a child who will not appreciate discipline style, who will not follow through with instructions, because they know that whatever you're doing it for their own good. Now, if all of this...
Sandra, we have to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've ran out of time. I just noticed it's 11:30 Central African time, but I think you've given us some key areas there.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for your time. And I think you end up on a good note. It really does start with the relationship that you have with your child. Thank you so much for giving us your time this morning. That's parenting and family systems strategist Sandra Oluwadare, speaking about creating a family culture of accountability. You can continue to be on that poll on our X handle, asking you the question, what works best for building accountability at home? Is it clear rules, leading by example, open talks, or consequences? Let's hear your thoughts on our On The Move poll at Channel Africa 1. Let's bring back File Lengwati for our latest sports news.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.